Need to order me one of those.
Yeah, this stuff doesn't always miss for stuff.
That thing is awesome.
The notes alone for the water tank. Jesus.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Have we sent it?
Good evening and welcome. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Welcome to the November 19th regular trustee meeting. Mrs. Johnson, who, 6:30 p.m. Sorry. And would you please call the roll call, please? Quorum call.
Mr. Holt?
Here.
Mr. Bachman?
Good.
Mr. Johnson?
Here.
There is a quorum present. Next is the adoption of the agenda. Is there anything to add or change on the agenda?
There is.
Okay,
The
so we got
building department.
put the building department thing. All right, we will put that on under new and old business under item 10. We'll put it in at the last place. I'm also going to ask that we reorder Article 4 to make number 7, number 9, and number 8, number 7, and number 9, number 8. We're going to put the executive sessions. I want to get the open to the audience portion out of the way before we do that, in case any of these folks want to go home and eat dinner or at least an hour. So with that said, since we have an amendment to the agenda, Chair will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
I make a motion, we adopt the agenda as amended.
Mr. Johnson, second.
A second.
The motion has been made and seconded to amend the agenda as discussed. Any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. The agenda is passed as amended. Review and approval of standing added agenda items, the previous few minutes. Do we have any yet, or is that going to be for the next? Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Fire department update. Chief Triana, if you please, sir.
I have one thing that I'd like to talk about this time. That's Squad 813. I'd take it over to Norwalk truck once again. And per this afternoon, what they're telling me is the actuator again has been identified that it will be needed replaced. They found that the turbo vanes have rough spots on the shaft. They removed the jumper harness from the actuator to the main harness and found the pins were fretted, so therefore they're recommending that the unit will need a turbocharger and the jumper harness, as written here in their quote. Cost of that repair with tax is $66,1912. I sent them the exempt tax form for the township, and that drops that total to $61.71 67 cents.
61717.
$6,171.67.
67 cents. Got it.
So if I could get an approval to make those repairs so I can get that squad back here, I'd appreciate it.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Stephanie, do we need to do any kind of appropriation, or do we have enough funds to cover that kind of repair?
It should be good.
Okay. Chair will entertain a motion at this time to authorize the chief to repair Squad 813 in an amount not to exceed $6171.67. Do I have that motion?
I'm sorry, Kenny, squad
812.
812. 813 is on my mind. 812.
A motion, man.
Is there a second?
I second it.
All right, Mr. Johnson has made the motion. Mr. Rowe has seconded to expend $6,171.67 for Squad 812 for necessary repairs. Is there any further discussion?
None.
Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passed. Get it done, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, road department report. Mr. Young's not here, but he did send me some information this afternoon on his needs for signs. And of course, I put it in the wrong place. There we go. This is the email I got. It's short, so I'll just read it. It says, here is a list of traffic control signs we need to bring us up to today's standards when we are working on the roads. 8 quantity stands, 2 quantity be prepared to stop, 2 quantity workers symbol, 2 quantity 1-lane road ahead, 2 quantity flaggers ahead, 2 yield to oncoming traffic. Thank you. And that was from Steve Young this afternoon. I asked him if we need all of these, or is this what we need to complete the inventory? He says, no, this is what we need
They need all
to
of
have
it.
all of them. He did indicate that the price would be somewhere in the range of $3,500 to $4,000. And he said he will have a written estimate for us if we need it to pass this. But my question is basically, do we want to go ahead and say he can go ahead and do this and get the quote and do it?
Yeah.
And then Stephanie, my next question is, the roads fund have $4,000 to buy necessary signs, or do we need to appropriate that separately?
It should be okay, but I didn't have an appropriation report in front of me to look
Okay.
at, so.
Okay, yeah. Let's go ahead and, I'll entertain a motion to allow Steve to get these signs at an amount not to exceed $4,000. You wanna make that motion?
Yeah, I make a motion that we allow Steve to purchase the aforementioned signs not to exceed the cost of $4,000.
Second by Kurt, made by Rowe. Is there any further discussion? Again, we'll have a final number, but this just gets it rolling
Yeah.
so we can get the order in and get them in place. With no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes, so Mr. Young, I will inform him that he can go ahead and get his signs. All right. Next is Township Administrator and Zoning Department, Mr. Baxter, please.
Zoning report. For the last 2 weeks, I've written 2 permits totaling $50 for the zoning department. I continue to work on a comprehensive resolution project for our 2010, to revise our 2010 resolution book. The key progress includes ensured compliance with zoning process, includes all the Ohio revised codes that we need attention to, preparing a fully updated zoning book for the trustees for consideration and adoption. Once the updated zoning resolution is finalized, it will streamline permitting, improve enforceability, and ensure full statutory compliance. And that concludes my zoning report. For the administrator report, during the period, the last 2 weeks, we demoed an excavator to clean out a large ditch. By completing the work in-house, the township avoided the need to contract out the job, and we saved the township almost $10,000 in doing so. It's also a piece of equipment that we are looking to add to the inventory to streamline our own processes and make us more effective and more efficient. Let's see, the road department has been preparing for winter. They conducted a mailbox durability and structural integrity check throughout the township. We identified 29 residences that require mailbox reinforcement or repair before snowfall. Letters were sent out today with reminders of those things. If you get one, give us a call, we'll come look at it. This is a proactive approach that helps prevent mailbox damage during plowing and reduces liability issues. We are still actively seeking Class B CDL drivers for seasonal snow plowing. Recruitment efforts remain ongoing. Cuddyback Cemetery. There is a tree assessment at Cuddyback Cemetery. We have several trees that are requiring removal for preservation, and they are colossal trees. The cost that I got on that was $10,500. This would complete the cemetery cleanup at Cuddyback, removing, I think there's 2 trees, but like 17 together. And then I also wanted to ask about removing the concrete blocks and cleaning up the parking lot out back here. We've got concrete light posts left from Ohio Edison. There's an actual light post laying there. I would like to get that stuff cleaned up and moved over to the township garage so it's taken care of back here before the snow flies as well. And that concludes my report.
Any questions before I roll in?
None.
The estimate for the 2 trees, do we have that written estimate in hand already?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
We do.
Let's go ahead and plan on putting that into a resolution, since it's a big amount. You know,
Okay.
put it on for December for
Yeah.
the next meeting. We'll pass that by resolution and enter into a contract, since that is a little bit more significant than the usual tree maintenance.
And that was for everything, the trees and, removing the stumps, which they're about the size of this right here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know which one of those two
Yeah.
it is, so, cause it was pretty bad shape a year ago.
Yeah.
Alright, that's on the concrete. We'll figure that out, look into it, see what we can do. I don't know if that's Ohio Edison's pole, or if it's our pole, or if it's a spare pole. So before we move anything, I wanna, who owns what? I'm sure the blocks are ours, because we bought the property. So, anything else from Mr. Baxter? Hearing nothing, Ms. Johnson, fiscal officer's update.
Okay, all I have is supplemental appropriations, let me pass this down. This is the same sheet that I emailed all of you, but here's just a fresh copy. Okay, so, we need to move, $400 from line item 1000-760-720 buildings into 1000-110-230 workers' comp. I need to move 3,900 from line item 2031-760-720 buildings into line item 2031-330-230 workers' comp. I moved $750 from line item 2111-230-400 supplies into 2111-220-230 workers' comp. $1,500 from line item 2111-223-23 repairs and maintenance to 2111-220-213 Medicare. $800 from line item 2031-760-720 buildings into 2031-330-351 electricity. $2,100 from line item 1000-760-740 machinery to line item 1000-110-2011 Hoopers. And then finally, $406.63 from line item 2111-223-70, payment to another political subdivision, and $120.37 from line item 2111-230-400 supplies into line item 2111-220-211 Hoopers. And that's it, and then I just need approval.
Any questions for our fiscal officer?
No.
I'm assuming that because electricity is more expensive than OPs, this is something we could not have foreseen, so we're just end of year housekeeping base.
Right.
The chair will entertain a motion to approve the supplemental appropriations as stated by the fiscal officer. Would you like to make the motion, Mr. Rowe?
I make a motion that we accept and approve the appropriation supplemental as aforementioned by fiscal officer Stephanie Johnson.
Mr. Johnson, would you care to second that motion?
I will second.
Any further discussion?
None.
Hearing none, all in favor? Say
Aye.
aye. Aye. You have your motion to pass the supplemental appropriations. That was okay. We have no resolution submitted for formal approval tonight. We're going to skip down to correspondence submitted to the Board of Trustees. I have an email from Brightspeed asking what the update is. Let me flip to the page there. From Steve Williams at Brightspeed concerning the road damage issues on Cemetery and Sassafras Roads. Do you guys have any other questions before I lead into Joe on this one?
No.
Joe, what do we know from Mr. Williams? Are they any closer to doing it?
So Mr. Williams, works for them, but he's not the guy who's in charge of the damage that's happened out here. He was one of the gentlemen that I reached out to that gave me numbers to contact the people, and he was just calling to find out if anybody had followed up with me, and no one has. I've not heard anything from Brightspeed on any of the matters on Cemetery or Sassafras.
Okay. Mr. Bett, you and I had a conversation about sending them a letter. Where are we at on that?
Somebody was gonna get me all their documentation,
Okay. So,
but I don't have that.
We can do it.
yeah, we can make sure you get that.
Yeah.
There's a big hole.
I do have,
I need to see what the dollar figure is, and I need to see how you came up with it.
okay. Well, these are the emails that I have in print. so far. So I'll lay those copies. And then if there's any other details, I'll get them to you. So. And then what was the other thing? Got an email from Drew Russell of ADT about the North Risden Road Overlay Project. You guys can chime in before I lean in.
You can weigh in, I'll take it again.
Where are we at on this, Joe? Is it done, good to go? Because I've got a whole bunch of emails that suggest that the project was completed as expected.
Well, I reached out to Mr. Dodrell, Erie County Engineer's office. I wanted him to take a look at it and put eyes on it before we did anything, because we have a drainage issue with water over there, and I'm very concerned about where the water is going and where it's going to. So I have not heard back from him yet on that, so that's where I'm at with it.
Okay. I do have a whole bunch of emails again. I'm gonna push this over to the trustees to discuss. And I'll leave with Mike.
Okay.
Unless you had something you wanted to ask Joe about this before we talk about it.
No, we don't about it.
We contracted with a company to do a 2-inch overlay. He did a 2-inch overlay. I don't think the project was ever designed to resolve all the drainage issues. It was just to do a 2-inch overlay. The contractors performed the job as it was bid, so we should pay him. We're talking with Joe and looking at the area itself. It looks like there's about 200 feet from where the water ponds to the lake. 200 feet of drain tile along the side of the road is like a couple thousand, like 1,000 or 2,000. So if we're gonna fix this problem, let's fix it by putting in a drain tile and just figuring out if we can do it in-house or if we have to bid it out and actually just run a drain tile down the side of this new pavement without cutting up the new pavement. That's my thinking, so I was curious. But I don't think we should be holding payment for a job that was performed as it was bid.
I think that we need to contact Mr. Dodrell on the drainage proposal, which could take place. However, when the job was in process, I went out to the job site with Administrator Baxter, and there was a problem with one of the driveways. And so when the job was bid, I do believe potentially they overlooked the problem in the driveway when the job was bid. So then the company suggested grinding the hump that is in this person's driveway. The hump is substantial. Joe, what do you say that curb is from the road? Now, it's the asphalt from the road that's in this person's driveway.
Right.
It's probably 5 inches high, wouldn't you say, Joe?
It was originally.
So if they did a 2-inch overlay, it's gonna be a huge dam. So Drew suggested grinding that down. The problem came when they ground down the asphalt. They ground down, and I personally witnessed this, they ground down to no base. So the asphalt on top of that is problematic. It's gonna be nothing but a problem. Anybody that knows about paving roads would know that. So, when I was out there talking, Drew, the owner of the company, was there, and he had said, well, I talked to the road foreman, this and that, we ground it down, and then the problem of the base. So the work was stopped. So the road then, nothing was done to the base. They paved the asphalt, the 2-inch overlay, and the same hump is in the guy's driveway, only worse, because the pitch of the water, when you're paving a road, generally a road is crowned to one side or the other, so water will flow either way. This particular case, and Joe can chime in, he knows more about paving than anybody in the room, I'd say. Well, okay. So the water goes towards the driveway. So in some of your communication from Drew, I think some of the communication was from Drew, that the homeowner, my question was, how was this overlooked in the first place? That driveway's not a problem, the driveway's not a problem. Now what was failed to mention was The other connecting private roads were paved also at the same height. So what that caused is the one road that's a private drive that comes out within a few feet of the other property owner's driveway that floods caused a larger dam there. So the water that could have gone across the road continuing down towards the lake is unable to do that because the rise in the asphalt there creates a problem. So as that conversation with Drew continued to take place, Drew told myself and Joe Baxter in presence that there was a charge for grinding that at $3,900. He said that he would eat that cost. To me, that was acceptable to us for him to eat the cost of the grinding. And I do believe, Mr. Chairman, he told you if he would eat the cost if he had to. So that's where we left it. The road was paved, the rain came. The guy's driveway is flooded up into his garage now, which I don't believe that ever happened before.
That's an outright lie.
Yeah,
No water
Don,
there.
keep it.
yeah.
Been there twice.
You
in a
can't
week.
interrupt.
Okay.
Drew.
So here's what I can tell you. Regardless of what Drew says, and we can listen to Drew also.
We will.
We have videos and pictures to show the waters in this guy's garage. Now, Drew, according to Drew, he says the homeowner is happy with that. In fairness, I have not talked to the homeowner. I don't know that Joe has either. I don't know if they're okay with it or not. I certainly wouldn't be okay with water coming in my driveway and then into my garage. So, case in point, Drew told me he was gonna eat the $3,900. That's what I expect.
Okay. Kirk, you got anything?
And, I apologize.
Go ahead.
There could be some further problems with the road, down the road, from the grinding. So, all that needs to be taken in consideration.
All right. Well, I do have, and I apologize, Joe, that you don't have this. I forgot to give it to you. I just got this. It says, Office of the Erie County Engineer dated the 14th of November, 2025. Read pavement measures North Risden Road, Vermillion Township. Dear Mr. Bennett, this was sent to the APA. Per our discussion, November 12th, my staff has taken field. I'm gonna pause for a minute. You say, Chief.
Good seeing y'all.
Scooch in, Mr. Bennett. He's gotta go behind you. And continuing with the letter, per our discussion of November 12, 2024, my staff has taken field measurements and secured asphalt quantities provided by Hard Asphalt for the North Risden Road paving project. Based on information, we are able to conclude the following. There has been approximately 2-inch overlay of asphalt placed on 520 feet of Risden Road north of State Route 6. Based on observations and calculations, the base layer of asphalt was placed at the northerly end of the road on an area of 40 feet by 26.6 feet at approximately 2 inches in depth. At this time, we find no visible workmanship issues with the asphalt work that has been completed. We welcome questions and or discussions on this matter. Sincerely, Eric B. Dodrell, Erie County Engineer. Basically, all the roads are the engineer's responsibility. We just take some responsibility, but his word is final. And he says the road is good. So if the engineer signed off on it, says it's good, it's on the engineer if it goes bad. So with that, then I have the email from, it was sent to Drew Russell from Gary Muto. It says, I am the Orchard Beach property owner at 21 Overlook Drive on the southwest corner of Overlook Drive and Risden Road. Thank you for your work on the repaving of Risden Road. Thank you also for recognizing early on that simply adding 2 inches to the existing road surface would have put me in serious jeopardy with regard to entering and exiting my driveway. In the past, resurfacing Risden Road was handled in this manner, and over the years of resurfacing, the elevation of Risden Road had become 4 inches higher than my driveway, with water ponding on it during rainstorms. Your team quickly realized that another layer of asphalt was not acceptable solution given my driveway profile. The work you performed fixed the height issue of our portion of Risden Road, and your basic grading work has fixed the storm drainage problem without having to add the cost of curbs. Also, your team sharp eyes in solving both the elevation and drainage issues at the initial site inspection in August saved the township the cost of an engineering study, which I'm sure would have cost at least $10,000 before any actual work began. Once again, I am in your debt for improving our portion of Brisbane Road. Thank you, Gary Musto. So the homeowner's happy with what is there. The engineer said it was done to a standard that he finds acceptable. So with that, and now that we have these, they're part of the record, let's pay the bill.
My opinion, Mr. Chairman, is the overlay was done. We can pay the portion of the bill, I have no problem with that. It's the grinding I have an issue with. The grinding was not approved by the Board of Trustees to do that. It was never approved by us. I don't agree with paying that. And Drew told me, and Joe, and you, obviously, that he would eat the cost of that grinding to finish the job. And that's where I think it should be. We can pay him for the road and everything like that. Drew's very.
We'll get to him, we'll get to him, but, so my understanding.
The grinding was not approved by the Board of Trustees.
I agree with that point. The 3,900 did not come through this board. We did not authorize that change order, and all change orders are supposed to go through the Board of Trustees. But traditionally, over the years, it's just kind of been done.
Yeah.
And now that we are paying closer attention than previous trustees,
And we were in office when that happened.
and we were in office when it happened, so this one's ours. This is ours to own,
It is not.
because we didn't catch it.
We didn't catch it, so it was not even brought to us.
Right.
So,
But it's
the
still
grinding
ours.
was done.
Yeah.
So,
So my question
when the
is,
company owner says he's gonna eat the cost of the grinding, I'm okay with that.
so everything but that, you're okay with?
I'm okay with, yes.
Kurt, same way? Everything but the 3,900, or are you okay paying the 3,900?
May I ask?
Well, if you guys want to, Drew, if you can come up to the podium, state your name and your company and address for the record.
Hi, guys. Andrew Russell, Hard Asphalt, 3420 Liberty Ave, Vermillion.
Ask your question.
My question is, did you have that conversation with Joe and Mr.
No,
Rowe?
so the homeowner came out and it was 5 inches higher. Noticed that, asked what we were doing, said it was an overlay, because that's what Steve said to do. That's what we estimated. He said, well, it's gonna be 7 inches higher. What do? I said, I'll call Steve, who is the head of the streets department, correct?
Yes.
Steve came out with another township employee, and we sat there for hours. We shot elevations, figured out where to get the water to go, and came up with a solution. Sent Steve a quote. We were ready to pave that road, and Steve approved it. So Steve is a township employee, that the only one I've ever dealt with, approved the 3,900. So then all of a sudden, Mr. Baxter comes and says, this wasn't approved. He said, why didn't you come to me? And I've never taken anything to Mr. Baxter. A township employee approved it. I was also then told it wasn't approved, and I have to shut the job down. So it was either eat the millings, as they say, or I can't pave the road. I already milled it out based on a township employee's approval. And if you ask Steve, Steve will tell you he approved it. So am I not supposed to go off the word of a township employee when a change order's been approved? You know what I mean? So that's where how this came about.
In reference to that, normally anything, Steve does not have the okay to authorize an expense on behalf of the township.
Moving forward, I understand that, but Steve's the only contact I've ever had. We met Steve. Steve gave us the spec, said do a 2-inch overlay. And as to his point of saying that this should have been caught, we didn't come up with the spec. Steve said, I said, why didn't we mill it out 2 inches and put it in? Then you achieve the same height. Steve said, that's just what the previous administration did. They put 2-inch overlays. I was not given a spec, you know what I mean? So
No, I get you. I guess back to my initial question though. And it comes down to the tax, did you say that you would eat the 39?
I was told there was no money, this wasn't approved. I said, we don't have the money for this, it's not approved. So I don't feel I should have to eat the cost. I did it, I solved the problem, and then if there's no money, then where did the money come from to do the road extension? There's a $7,900 road extension. If you don't have the money to pay me the $3,900, because it wasn't approved, how did we come up with $7,900 to extend the road afterwards?
I'm more coming to the question of, they're obviously having a dialogue saying that you stated that you would. I'm just trying to.
No, I do not want to eat the $3,900, nor do I feel I have to. If it was either eat the
Was it a
3,900.
comment that was actually said in the conversation?
No, I said,
Okay,
I
that's
do
what,
not
that's
wanna
what I'm
eat-
asking.
yeah.
If you're telling me you did not tell them that you would eat the 39.
I was told there was no money to pay it. So, what, can I ask a question though?
To me, yes.
So the 3,900 was approved by Steve, correct? And he's
No.
not authorized to do it, he said to do it.
That's what you
Yes,
believe, yeah.
yes. Okay, no, Steve will say that, so anyway. Okay, we have it from the homeowner to solve the problem. So we came up with the money to pay the 7,900 to extend a road that didn't need extended. What is the issue with paying me the 3,900 that needed to be done to fix the road and the flooding issue for your resident? You know what I mean?
I do.
So, but you're not gonna pay, you're just trying to not pay me the 3,900, just, I can't even explain why, it's bizarre.
May I?
No,
May I
no,
join?
no, hold on. Let me answer your
Yeah.
question first and then
Yeah,
I'll.
thank you.
The 7,800 did go through this board. We did vote
Yes.
on it, we did add it.
Mhm.
We have yet to, if we will, I don't know if we will or not, do the 3,900.
Mhm.
It was not appropriate for a road foreman to say, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
understand, I get
We know
that.
that
You know,
now.
I get,
We all know
I get that, but
But
in
that's-
my opinion, I feel that that's.
This is where we're at
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now, is how to resolve that 3,900. The job's been done
And
to
it's-
spec.
And the 3,900 also solved the resident's problem, per him. It solved the height issue and the drainage.
Sure. Okay. I'm gonna let you sit down.
Yep,
and
thank you,
go
guys.
Thank you,
To, Mr. Rowe asked first, so I'm gonna ask him to make it brief and then I'm gonna give it.
I'll make it as brief as possible. Drew said that, we made a statement, and Drew, correct me if I'm wrong, through the chair.
Okay.
Drew just made a statement that we didn't have the money to pay the $3,900. That was never in a conversation. We have more than enough money. We never said anything about not having $3,900, Drew. When the discussion on the road took place and it was over the base, you were down in the dirt, you said, I will eat the $3,900, period. You said that to Joe, you said it to me. Nothing was ever said.
Stop.
He said, correct me if I'm wrong.
Stop.
said that.
One person talking.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't say correct me if I'm wrong. So
Yeah.
don't say that then, and I'll stop talking.
All right, let him talk.
Yeah, you gotcha.
If you wanna rebut, then we'll talk about that. But I'm not
I
gonna
don't
have
need to
a,
rebut. I
Joe?
did the work, so let's just let me know what you guys
Drew,
do.
I'm not gonna have a back and forth.
Okay, no, yeah, I'm done.
Okay? So, make your point and let's move on.
I take offense in the fact that someone makes an accusation that was stated that we didn't have the money to pay the $3,900. That's ludicrous, because we did the motion through the board to extend the road. That's how it's supposed to. I explained that to Drew out there. He kept saying, Steve Young approved this. I told him, Steve, that's not how it works. So he said that he would eat the $3,900. Our administrator was there. You and I had a conversation where he said to you, if I have to eat the $3,900, I'll eat it. So there's 3 people on this board that said that he would eat the $3,900.
Your point is
Now, he just said from the podium that he never said he would eat the $3,900.
Didn't say I would if I have to. If
Last
I'm
warning,
sorry.
Drew. Last warning. Mr. Bennett, you wanted to chime in.
Mr. Baxter approved 3,900 in an email. We look at the email chain. Hart quotes an additional change order 9/8/25, change order 3,900, emailed to Steve Young. 9/26/25, Hart quotes an additional 7,900 to extend paving on Riston. Mr. Baxter to Hart. Mr. Baxter asks, sir, where would this put us in total? Hart on that day advised $16,500 plus $3,900 change order plus $7,900 if that $7,900 is approved. Mr. Baxter. Then, that was emailed to Joe Baxter, 10/17/25. Hart advises it wishes to complete work on 10/21. Email to Mr. Baxter. Mr. Baxter, please advise on completion date. He didn't say please advise on completion date for part of the order, part of the 28.3. He advised please advise on completion date for the whole keg of it, 10/22/25. His response should be paid tomorrow, weather permitting. Mr. Baxter that same day to Hart Asphalt. Copy that, exclamation point, thank you for the update, sir. That is an acceptance of an offer, of 3 separate offers. One was for 16, one was for 3,900, and one was for 7,900. The total amount of those offers is 28,300. For then when he's there, to suddenly be in a position where he has to say, oh my God, I'll eat the 3,900.
This is a joke.
I'm sorry, did you say something?
No, don't do it. I put everybody that does
Gentlemen,
rules out.
offers and acceptances is how this township does business. We need to honor the gentleman's contract, not because it's all legal, it's because it's the right thing to do. And Mr. Baxter said, well, we have issues. We need to refer this to the engineer to see if this was done correctly. Now that's a little unusual because the engineer didn't spec anything out, but the engineer went out there and said this has been done correctly. I'm afraid you have a 28.3 issue here, and not a 24 something, only because the offer was accepted and the performance has been completed. Thank you.
No, I'm gonna go next. The same argument I have for Steve Young not having authority, I have to have for Joe. Joe's not authorized to make an expense or enter into an agreement. But with that said, we should do, again, I'm gonna restate this, we should do right by the contractor, the job was done, it was done correctly, and if the contractor doesn't acknowledge that the 3,900 was offered as a waive, then we should pay it, because we got what we paid for. So I know that not everybody's happy, I know this should not have gone this way, but this is the way it is, this is the way it exists today, and we should pay for the services we got, regardless of what anybody said in any emails, any conversations. You pay for what you get. Your opinion, Mr. Johnson.
The biggest stipulation I have right now is the fact that I'm still trying to put together the conversation that was had here. Whether it was under duress, whether it was under a professional conversation that was had between Drew, Mr. Rowe, Mr. Baxter, if there was something of saying the 3,900 is gone, then I am curious on why that is. As I sit here right now, I would state, I would like to get Steve's conversation on. I'm all for giving Mr. or Drew the payment minus the 39 for right now until I piece a lot of this together. Not that we're not going to try and, if he has the money coming to him, he gets paid. If it's something that was done that too many people said yes and shouldn't have, then yeah, then the township should be looking into taking care of that for Drew. Right now, I'm all for getting everything except for that out on the table right now, because right now we're being told that 2 people on this board were miscommunicating that conversation. I would like to get the details on that before we do the full amount. I'm all for getting them paid on everything, but that right now, until I get better answers, Drew, I'd like to have that resolved. If that's something that is acceptable to you, because you did do the service. I just want to make sure that everybody here is on the same page.
Well, again, I don't have a choice. Well,
That's all.
I thought he was talking to me.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I was.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Ken, but he asked me a direct question. You're
That's
fine.
where I said I don't know how you guys as trustees.
The way our rules work, for anybody that doesn't know in the room, you talk to the chair, everybody
Yeah,
talks to
yeah,
the chair,
sorry.
and I'll ask the questions and direct them accordingly.
Thank you.
But getting back to the discussion and debate, and Mr. Rowe, your opinion on the whole thing before we move forward with a vote or anything.
I do have to make one statement that I think that Prosecutor Bennett had read some emails, and when those emails were produced, it was a surprise that the $3,900 was still in that calculation because Drew agreed to eat that with us.
We've covered that point.
Well, Joe had brought it up to myself, so as far as, yeah, I don't have anything else to say. We can pay the bill except the $3,900, that's what I expect.
At this time, the chair will entertain a motion to pay the North Risden Road asphalt bill less $3,900 until that issue can be resolved. Would you the one who care to make that motion?
I make the motion.
Mr. Johnson, second. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Russell, you'll get your pay, and then we'll figure out the rest of it after Mr. Johnson's had an opportunity to talk to Mr. Young.
Thank you.
And hopefully in 2 weeks we'll have an answer on that one. So, This is how we do things, folks, little by little, bit by bit. All right. Correspondence, let's go on that. Email submitted to the Erie County Engineer. I've got a letter from Eric Dodrell for the ORC required 5543.06 to address construction and maintenance of our roads, bridges, and storm drainage in Erie County. This will be held at 9 a.m. Thursday, December 4th. He's asked that the trustees attend. That's the day after our meeting. Just wanted to put it on notice and let everybody know that we're going to be out in the county for that. That's the last of the correspondences. We're going to now move to open to the audience. Somebody can snatch me the open to the audience form. Thank you, Chief. The first person on the list is Nancy Sauer. Nancy, would you please?
I'll pass this
Okay.
time.
Go by, Westlake Road. Bring the next one on.
Thank you, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I feel compelled to set the record straight in regards to why the township moved the building department to the city. Okay, because there's some dialogue out there that's incorrect. People said it was temporary. That wasn't part of the deal. I was involved from day one to help have that moved. So let's first have a little bit of a history lesson. Our last building official, Bob Baker, who, by the way, never had the licenses and the requisite inspection certificates to do inspections, was hired on March 12th, 2021.
Turn it down or turn it off?
He was later terminated a year later after numerous questionable actions on his part, as well as not acquiring his licenses. It was 1 year. During that time, he was paid $65,000 in salary, plus benefits, a car, and mileage reimbursement. A package worth almost $90,000 in total. Okay? The last month of his employment, he generated $350 in permitting fees and licenses. Only a government can run a business like that. That year, his total revenue that was generated from that office was $34,492. That cost the township taxpayers $55,000 that year to have him in place. Additionally, it was argued by Tina Karras, who held a staff position here in the township during that period, that she was responsible for creating the permits and doing all the paperwork. It was a big part of her job. So whatever her cost was being in that position should be added to the cost of having a full-time building inspector. So during that period, I met with Bill DeFucci, who at that time was the building inspector for the city of Vermillion. Bill and I in a conversation, I asked him if he was happy with what he had done at the city, and he said the one thing he wished he'd completed is he really wanted to approach the township and the city about moving the building department out to the city, because they had the staff, they had the capacity, they knew the systems required for compliance and so forth. They have a professional group there. My experience with them, and I'm sure a lot of others in this room, is that they're on the ball. They know what they're doing. So from there, I met independently with trustees Hill and Scott, suggested that they proposed to the mayor of the city that be done. And of course, the rest is history. So whoever stated that this was meant to be temporary was not part of that discussion and has spoken without the facts. So here's a dose of reality. The city of Vermillion cannot keep qualified building inspectors. Those of us that are familiar with the building department know that they've gone through multiple building inspectors. This is a complaint that the city has. Neighboring communities as well are struggling to find the talent. The people that have those licenses are in short supply. And frankly, they can go to larger cities, Bay Village, Lakewood, and they're looking at salaries in excess of $100,000. Guys, we can't compete with that. We shouldn't try to compete with that. I would ask the trustees to think long and hard before adding debt to the township residents, the taxpayers in this township. The last election made it clear to me that people do not want additional taxes. They don't want any additional burden. Let's consider consolidating resources like we have with the city in all things that we do, okay? To continue to give services, the type of services that Frank offers, by utilizing all the resources we have within all the local communities, rather than trying to build our own silo, which frankly, guys, it's not going to get any cheaper, and we've had enough.
Thanks, Mr. Beck. I don't know that there was any questions in there, but for the record, I was in the audience, every single one of those meetings, every single time, with every single discussion. And the only point I would correct is that Mr. Baker did have an interim, but he let it lapse. So he did have certifications, they just lapsed. And there were other issues, as you stated, but we're not gonna go into that tonight. So, moving on, Larry Dean, Cherry Road. You have the next
I'll
slide.
yield my time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Kukemeyer, Grand Harbor, you're up next, please.
Good evening. Just wanted to congratulate Mr. Rowe.
Thank you.
Mr. Johnson, you and I, best of luck. Want to congratulate Mr. Sexton through the chair. I've got one question. Election day to the chair. You watched me and my wife put a sign up across from the VFW in a field. You stood there and watched it. Wouldn't you think you'd say, hey, Tom, that's not going to work. Don't do it. You didn't. You let me go away, and an hour later I came back, and you told me that the building inspector, Mr. Baxter, took the sign, and it was on Stanley Road. I think that's childish, 1. 2, didn't appreciate the comments on Facebook. 3, be this known that I will support Mr. Sexton. I will be here every meeting to make sure that this unit, to help Mr. Rowe, hopefully, becomes a real township trustee meeting and a real township. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kukemeyer. I do not have a response to that. Next one on the list is Jim and Bev Gula. Is one or both of you going to talk, or
I'm coming up for a second.
Bev Gula? Is that Hickory?
Yeah.
Hickory Drive.
So initially, but it's been addressed several times, bringing the building department back, read the article last week. From the meeting, I was intrigued by, is there income to be made in the township? So I was just gonna say, I would like to see the investigation go forward, but with real numbers. If there's money to be made in the township, to bring it here. That was just my opinion. Just a statement or a question. When we moved here 4 years, we love it here. When we bought here, we were told there was a leaf cleaner-upper. And it would be my question, is there ever going to be another leaf picker-upper in the township? The end.
I can answer on the leaf thing. The one that we had was more maintenance than function.
That's what we heard.
So we don't currently have one. Whether we're going to get another one, stay tuned. We'll let you know. Dan Myers, Cohen Road, you're next on this list.
Yes, good evening. I have a problem. I live down in Shore Acres next to Sherrod Park. It's a mobile home park. There's about 70 trailers in there. I moved in there during COVID as a place to, well, it was about the only place I could find because prices and everything were crazy. And I was happy down there, but I now found a house out in Sandusky and I am trying to move. The owner says I cannot sell my trailer there. He wants it taken out of the park. There's no rules. Nobody has leases. Everyone down there is running scared from this guy. He threatens people all the time that he's going to sell the property to a big developer. The difference of me trying to sell the trailer mobile home myself, which is in good shape, I did work to it and had the zoning board and everything, okay, everything. He now tells me, no, any trailers over 30 years old I want to get rid of. Well, my place looks nice. I put a lot of money into it. And now he's telling me I'm shit out of luck. Because if I try and sell that trailer to someone on the outside, it loses all its value. Because that park is a nice park. It's in Vermilion Township. It's next to a park. It's got a beach. It's got piers. It's got fishing. It's got everything you would want to retire it. Well, now, I don't know that I could afford my new house because I was expecting a lot more than $10,000 on the outside. I put, like I said, money into it. And everyone down there, this is all news to them. Now, if he wants trailers out over 30 years old, I bought it when I was 31 and then put a new roof and an expansion and threw money into it like you do, anyone does, the American dream, buy property, fix it up, move on to another one. He's taken my retirement away from me. I mean, literally, the last trailer it sold in there was $140,000 and it's less of a trailer than mine. And I just think it should be checked into because there's a lot of people that are scared, or the ones that have a 28-year-old trailer are now thinking of selling, and the rest of the people aren't going to put a dime into their trailers. There's no rules. There's nothing that says he can, except that he can do what he wants. He's got you, you know. And I don't want to make a long, drawn-out thing of this, but something has to be done. It's not the American dream. It's not fair that he can take my retirement money away from me. And he's got other problems, but that's another time. That's all I wanted to say, and I think it should be brought up to everybody, because if you come in and you're not told, oh, by the way, you're not going to get your money back. I mean, I at the point of selling it on the outside, I wouldn't even get the money I bought it for, let alone the extras I put into it. And to me, it's stealing the American dream. And I live on a fixed income. I would not have bought my new house if I knew I couldn't sell this. And the day I closed on my new house, I came home and there was a letter from him 22 days later saying, no, I don't want to sell. You can't sell that here. I'm the only one who's done it to. We never got along. This is what I'm telling you. I'm stuck. If anybody has any ideas, or if they can help the rest of the people down there, whatever. But you know, $10,000 on the outside, or $100,000 on the inside. That's a lot of money to take away from anybody, especially fixed income. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, sir. The only answer I can give you is I feel for you, but and correct me, Mr. Bennett, if I'm not wrong. His private property is on private property, and that's entirely a civil matter. There's literally nothing the government can do. Would you concur?
I do not know, sir, with respect, enough about what you're talking about. I've heard general snippets of this, but it would not be appropriate for me to respond because I need to look into this.
Right. But as far as I understand, what happens on private property is a civil issue, not.
That's about 90% true. So.
Yeah. So, if we find out anything different, I will reach out.
Okay.
It does not look good, to be honest. So, last name on the list is John Myers.
I'll pass.
Okay. And that's the end of the open to the audience portion, which means we go now to executive sessions as needed. The chair will entertain a motion to go into executive session, ORC 121.22G3, to confer with attorney on new matters of a pending litigation. This one was under your name, all for this. The chair will entertain that motion at this time.
Make a motion.
Mr. Rowe has made the motion to go into executive session. Mr. Johnson has seconded that motion. I will call roll on this. Mr. Rowe, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. This one will occur after new business, and there will likely be no other business after it. It is presumed to be a lengthy executive session. The next one, at this point, I'm going to recuse myself from the meeting and turn the meeting over to Trustee Rowe, who is the vice chair. And I would ask that you bear patience while we switch chairs. And I'm gonna leave the room, call me when you guys are done.
At 7:26 p.m., Chairman Bachman has recused himself. Vice Chairman Rowe has assumed the chair. So we have a motion to go into executive session. Ohio Revised Code 121.22 G3 to confer with an attorney on matters of an ongoing litigation. Do we have a motion? I second that motion, so roll call of officers. How do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson votes yes. Mr. Rowe votes yes. So at this time, the trustee meeting will go into recess at 7:26.